Our ancestors passed our history from one generation to the next by telling stories. Elders would gather together with the youth and their children and grandchildren and talk about the things that happened to us in our past and tell the story of our history and also impart some moral teachings about how we as a community were supposed to act. The Seven Fires prophecy came to the Potawatomi when our ancestors lived in the extreme northeast of what is now today known as North America. The prophets came and said that there would be a time when we would need to move inward until they found a place where food grew on water. We were known as the Three Fires Council because at one point we were all one large tribe and we referred to ourselves as the Three Brothers. And over time we became too large and we started to move away from each other geographically, and we split into three distinct tribes.
The Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi. The Ojibwe are considered the oldest brother. They were the first to build a fire as one people. And being the eldest, they're the keepers of the medicine and the faith. The second brother, the Odawa, are the keepers of the trade. Their name translates to traders or trader people. They were charged with having to establish and protect Nishnabe trade lines and alliances. Third is the Potawatomi, the youngest brother. They were the last to build a fire as one people, and because of that, they're charged with having to preserve and protect what's considered the cultural or the council fire amongst Nishnabe people, which helps strengthen and bind all three groups together.
In the Three Fires Council portion of the exhibit, we chose to have the base be in the shape of what could be interpreted as a fire. It's round and it has lighting that sort of gives an uplight of warmth to the banners of the different tribes. So we really chose to do that to symbolize that fire, that council fire, that we were responsible for maintaining. When we were thinking about the design of the first entry section of the exhibit, we really wanted to go to a shape of a circle because the circle is significant in Potawatomi culture. It first represents the interior of the Miga shell, which is part of the Seven Fires prophecy, is following that Miga shell from one location to the next. It also has a design element to it that really allows the viewer, when they first enter the space, to just focus in on that space. They can't see beyond it to the next exhibit, and it really represents what was facing our ancestors. Until the next prophet came, they didn't know what was beyond the next corner. They didn't know what was going to happen next. So it really helped to let our visitors experience what our ancestors were going through, not knowing what's next around that corner. When we were trying to decide how to represent the Seven Fires prophecy, we decided on animals, and we really looked at each prophecy to decide what animal would be best. The animal that really set us on the path to using the approach that we did is the turtle. We were presented with a sketch by an artist that really fit the feel that we were looking for of the field sketches. So we used that turtle as the foundation and for the style for the rest of the animals.
Well, the turtle is an extremely revered animal in spirit, also part of the clan system as well, of either the Turtle Clan or the Great Sea Clan. But many believe that North America is Turtle Island, and that the turtle sacrificed itself and its shell to rebuild a new world after the Great Flood destroyed the first world and its inhabitants. The Nishnabe were told on their migration from the east to the west that they would encounter a turtle-shaped island on the beginning of their journey, and they would know their journey's end when they saw a second turtle-shaped island.
Once we had decided on a field sketch style for the animals, we approached Jennifer Randell. She is the manager of the Sepian Eagle Aviary. She is a tribal member and she also has an art background. I had seen a lot of her work. She does a lot of pen and ink and a lot of pencil sketches, so I knew that this style in particular would be something that she had a really strong background in.
I actually started college in 1993 in Chickasha, Oklahoma at the University of Science and Arts of Oklahoma. I had plans to be a graphic artist, but the world and the creator has a way of changing your path. Dr. Mosteller came to me and asked if I would be willing to do a few sketches, just some field drawing looking sketches, really quick. And I said, yeah, I would love to help, it'd be fantastic. And We had a lot of great brainstorming meetings beforehand, and they had such a clear direction of what they wanted. I can't take a lot of credit because they made it really easy. I got the fun part, just to sit down and sketch and draw, and they chose what worked best for what their vision was.
When we decided to add color to Jennifer's sketches, we knew we should approach Trey Delonis. We needed the sketches to be brought to life by adding these pops of color and really helping to bring some personality into each one of the images. And Trey was fantastic to work with and was willing to give us multiple drafts and go back and do just corrections along the way that help bring them to life, but also help give them that vibrant color that really makes the entire section of the museum stand out.
Trey was great. He did the graphic artwork on the drawings. So I would do the pencil drawings really quickly, and he would take them through the computer and do all these filters and colors, and it was just really fantastic to see them come to life. And then they put these wonderful lights behind them, so it just really, like I said, they had a clear vision, and it worked really wonderfully.
My role, once Jennifer finished drawing the animals, was to clean them up, remove any eraser marks, and then go over the whole thing and kind of give it an outline and make it more pronounced. To recreate the watercolor look, I started with research, looking at just different watercolor paintings, more so like just like drops of watercolor on canvas to kind of see how it reacted. Adding depth to the pike was pretty simple, actually. We just decided to layer a few more of the pike in there instead of just having one like all the other panels. So we just had like our main pike in the front, and then we added some reeds and some other stuff on the ground, and then put another pike behind that, and so on, to kind of make it look like there were fish in the distance.
We chose to use the pike for the third fire because that's where we were talking about where the tribe would come to a place where food grew on water. And the food that grew on water was, of course, the wild rice that grew in the beds in the Great Lakes region. The pike make their home among the roots of the wild rice. It provides safety for them to lay their eggs and raise their young, just like it was supposed to be this place of protection and safety for the Potawatomi who arrived in the Great Lakes region. So we really liked that connection back to, it's not just the Potawatomi people who are at home in this place and that the Creator put here, it is also the animals that were in our world.
The reason why we chose the snake and what it symbolizes was the duality between the relationship with tribes, with European colonists. Accounts show that the way that tribes described foreign invaders, if you will, as those who spoke with a forked tongue. They would say one thing yet mean the other. They would come with a hand of friendship yet want to take something. They were always in need. So we selected the rattlesnake. It's the eastern Mississauga rattlesnake. It's the only venomous snake in the Great Lakes. We chose that because it's a very small snake yet very deadly snake. So the way in which that tribe saw European colonists as being very weak but also being very dangerous.
We chose to use the Seven Fires prophecy as the introduction portion of our museum exhibit because it does span out over the course of many centuries. It allows us to sort of use those stories as benchmarks through time to tell about things that changed in our societies or big events that happened that really changed the course of our history. So that oral tradition in particular really fit for what we were trying to do, of tell this long story over time, tell this story of challenges that we overcame and how we were able to survive as a people. So it really did fit the overall narrative we were trying to tell.
There was a seventh and final fire that was delivered to the people that told of a new people who would emerge, who would walk along the path of their ancestors and pick up the pieces that were left for them. They would use these pieces to rebuild their culture and teach themselves about their old ways while creating new ones. They would also use this education for their neighbors to help them understand who they were as Potawatomi or Nishnabe people and their place in the world, creating balance between different races and cultures.
So we chose the eagle because they soar highest of all of the Creator's creations. They pass our prayers off to the Creator. They are a symbol of that rising from what we had lost from the low point back up to that point of being really connected and in communion with the Creator. This gallery and the CHC as a whole, I believe, represent the seventh fire, because that seventh fire is about a time when we will go back along the path of our ancestors. We're going to pick up the things that they were forced to put down, the culture, the teachings, the language, ceremonies, these stories. And so for tribal members to be able to come through, learn a little bit about Potawatomi history, hear these oral traditions, really reconnect and be inspired to go out and teach their children what Potawatomi they know, to learn more Potawatomi themselves, to practice certain traditions and take part in ceremonies. We hope that that's what people come to learn, to be inspired, to have a place where they really feel safe, to learn more about what it means to be Potawatomi.